Why are the elites eating babies and now mermaids? There's no secret.
But the wealthy are serving them as the main dish of their parties.
If you didn't know, there's certain videos circulating around on TikTok talking about elites eating mermaids.
These are mermaid eating parties.
What you mean the celebrities be eating mermaids?
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.
Do something with it.
Money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, this is money coming. This is money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, this is money coming. This is money coming to me always. Money coming in all day. Money coming in all paid. Money coming, this is money coming. This is money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, this is money coming. This is money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, this is money coming. This is.
Hey y'all, welcome back to All Things Jenny. I'm Jenny. So the elites are eating mermaids for delicacy. They have run out of things to do. Now they decided to start eating mermaids. So if you guys don't know that, there's men on TikTok basically saying that, you know, he got out of jail and he needed a job. So he decided to work with a fisherman and he basically learned all this. Excuse me. Now when I first heard this video, I was like, right? But then I thought again, I say, you know what, this year is year that you're going to start hearing a whole lot about mermaids, and I started doing more research. But since I'm from Haiti and I'm from the Caribbean, I have been telling you guys this for a long time, that mermaids are real. These are things that I know for a fact because I have seen it when I was in Haiti with my own two eyes. And I've told this story before where I saw a mermaid.
The elite are eating mermaids and I know what they taste like. You've probably seen the viral mermaid eating videos, but have you seen mine? Because mine's the original one. For some reason, it's not on the For You page, but I did get another email from someone that went to the party. They actually paid to go to the party and they told me what they taste like. Let's read that email, shall we? We're going to call him Jonah because I think that's funny. As in Jonah and the whale, you know, and all of that. Jonah said, I had spent my life chasing the rare, the forbidden, the experiences that others whispered about but never dared to pursue. I had sipped snake venom-infused whiskey in Japan, dined on endangered delicacies in hidden European supper clubs, and even paid an absurd amount to eat a meal cooked on lava in Iceland. When he heard about the mermaid parties, he was down to go, and he said that he paid $50,000 for his ticket. He wasn't told about the location until the day of the party, that a black limo came and picked him up, took him to the party. He said the host was in a white suit wearing a mask, like a masquerade mask, and said, welcome. Tonight you will partake in a dish once served for the kings of lost civilizations, a delicacy that vanished from history until now. Now here's what he said it looked like. Their torsos were eerily human, slender arms, delicate collarbones, pale faces, frozen in serene stillness. But from the waist down, their bodies shimmered with blue-green scales.
Why are the elites eating babies and now mermaids? There's no secret they're eating babies. Just take a look at this model, Gabriella from years ago, exposing what's really happening on the elite parties. Now we're hearing about them eating mermaids, but why? Here's a woman receiving an email from someone that went to one of these elite parties and his experience of eating a mermaid.
As if he were tasting the ocean itself, not just its bounty, but its soul. That's his words, not mine. He then said, a warmth spread through my body, my heartbeat slowed, my breath deepened. Around me, the other guests had closed their eyes, their faces soft with pleasure. His mind was filled with visions of deep blue waters, endless and calm, filled with whispers, not words, but emotions, memories, as if the sea itself had opened to him, revealing its secrets.
What if the elites are tapping into the very energy field of whatever they are consuming? Think about it, they could be accessing their praise, consciousness, memories, experiences. It's like reading a book, but with the full sensory experience. Now, what if black magic is the key to this? Could they be using these dark practices not just for control, but a way to entertain themselves?
Hey, it's Glamham. Are elites eating mermaids and having parties about it? You've probably seen the viral Elites Eating Mermaids videos from Jay Lee, who brought this theory to TikTok. But did you know that back in 2020, Reddit user Head of Spectre posted a fictional story to the subreddit No Sleep about a fisherman hired to capture a mermaid for wealthy elites to eat? Fast forward to 2025, Jay Lee shares her gruesome tale of a fisherman named Landon, mysterious bias, hints of military involvement, and bam! TikTok is on board and wondering, is this a story or is there something darker beneath? Well, I bet you haven't heard of someone we'll call Chloe, a Hollywood starlet who lost her job as a waitress, was recruited via her friend's parents to work exclusive parties in LA. Chloe was booked to attend a themed party in Malibu, and the theme was Secrets of the Deep. I'm told she had to send her measurements before the event and sign an NDA, which is kind of typical, about the type of costume she'd be wearing. The event was hosted by some of the most powerful names in Hollywood. A-list celebrities, billionaires, politicians, even people famous for environmental campaigning, ironically. The invitation had faux seaweed. It promised massive aquariums and a special delicacy if you paid for the Neptune pass. The last text Chloe's friend received on the night of the event was, "You won't believe who's here." Cut to my own journey through showbiz, and like everyone else, I've worked a lot of jobs. I painted furniture and murals for famous people. A fairy tale children's bed for Tupac Shakur's baby girl, one for John Goodman, even the Sistine Chapel. This is years ago. I was an international shoe designer for footwear brands like these, and was the first ever shoe designer for Playboy. Really cute stuff. So yes, I've attended several high-profile LA parties, including at the Playboy Mansion. Between juggling careers in fashion and Hollywood, have I seen and experienced disturbing things? Sadly, yes. Do I think it's conceivable that an elite group of billionaires could fashion something akin to a mermaid? Sadly, yes. Am I connecting Chloe's disappearance to parties of elites eating mermaids? Or am I saying there never was a Chloe? I'll see you in the comments. Take care.
So I'm quite sure everybody has heard by now that rich elite people are having these mermaid dinner parties where they're actually eating the mermaids. And I have a couple of things about that. And just to let the people know that how they describe the mermaid as being, having the gill face, the half human, half fish body, it is the same depiction of what Sigmund and Freud had captured way back, I believe that was the 30s or 40s. The same picture that was shown, I say maybe 10 years ago, when the mermaid had went past the submarine. So we know that this is really the mermaid. But what the fuck? Okay, in all honesty, I have been waiting all my life. Not, I want to go when I'm much older, for just in case. But to go out to the shores of Haiti, Jamaica, and negotiate with the mermaid so they can go ahead and take me for 7 years and send me back with motherfucking powers. But the mermaids are biblical. The falling angels came down and took the human people. We don't know if it was consensual or not, but made it with the human women and taught them witchcraft. The stuff that we know now about all of witchcraft, this is in the book of Enoch. Why would you fuck with a biblical entity and eat it? On top of that, you have the mermaid to prove to the world that mermaids exist, and you decide to eat the motherfucker for lunch. I have issues. How are you all feeling about this?
Let's talk about these mermaids in Japan, and they are called a ningyo. And Japanese records over the centuries includes various sightings and stories connected to them. Now let's talk about it. Now the name ningyo means fish human, and as it states in the name, it's a creature with both human and fish-like creatures. And the name is also translated as mermaid, even though it's not gender specific, so it can mean merman as well. And when I tell y'all these creatures are nothing to play with, y'all, For centuries, fishermen and sailors have seen these creatures, and it is said if you catch one of these mermaids, it brings on a very bad omen. And they can cause storms, shipwrecks, death and misfortune, and just all kinds of natural disasters that can wipe out towns and just crazy stuff. And eating them is even worse. It is said that if you eat the flesh of a niño, you will be granted with immortality. There's been cases where there was a nun that people believe lived up to 800 to 1,000 years old. I believe her father came across some niño meat and made a mistake and gave it to the daughter, and the daughter ate it, and she basically, like, her age process slowed down. She was extremely beautiful. She was granted with beautiful youth, but also internal sorrow. Everyone she knows and love, passed away, and she was just here forever and ever, just miserable. All because she ate some good old mermaid flesh. And this is an earlier depiction of more so what these creatures look like. As the tale grew popular and popular over the centuries, they made it look more like mermaid-like, but they really was more fish and just human head. So y'all could see how a fisherman, if they're fishing in the deep sea, they would probably think this is a fish until they look at it, and then they look at it and they drop them right on back. Like these fishermen, when they seen them, they threw them right back in the water because, like I said, everybody knew that it rung a bad omen. But I just find it so fascinating how in folklore and mythology in every country, there's always similar creatures that have the same similarities. And I have a surprise for y'all. I'm gonna make a whole series with different mermaids and tales all over the globe because I normally talk about the ones just in the Caribbean and African areas. So now we're gonna be talking about mermaids global. So stay tuned. And let me know what y'all think about this in the comments.
Hey,
Did you know that in 1998, this man, Jeff Leacher, took a photograph of a real-life mermaid? It was the 12th of April 1998, and Jeff was on a boat about 20 minutes off Kauai Point in Hawaii. On this particular day, there were 10 people on the boat, and a pod of dolphins appeared behind the boat. They were chasing the boat, playing, jumping out of the water, when all of a sudden, one of the men on the boat started shouting and pointing in an absolute panic. When Jeff went to see what this man was shouting and pointing at, he realised there was a woman swimming with the dolphins. According to Jeff, this woman was only 10 feet away. He could clearly see her swimming alongside the dolphins and keeping pace with them. Jeff went on to say that there was no way any human being could be able to keep up with the speed of these dolphins. And then she leapt into the air and my heart almost gave out on me. The entire lower half of her was covered with scales and tapered back into a huge fishtail. And then she jumped once more and disappeared. But that is not the end of the story. About an hour later, they arrived at their dive spot, and Jeff went into the water with his underwater camera to take pictures of the marine life, and he secretly hoped he might see the mermaid again and be able to snap a picture of her. Sure enough, during his dive, he felt something brush against him, and when he turned to see what it was, there she was, darting off through the water. He started snapping pictures, and guess what? He was able to capture a picture of the mermaid. There she is in all of her mermaidy glory. A real-life Ariel, if you will. So according to this article, Weekly World News sent the pictures to be analysed by 3 noted photography labs. Who those 3 noted photography labs were, I do not know, but all of them said the photos were genuine and had not been tampered with in any way. So the general consensus apparently was that these photos were authentic. And I'm just going to say it, I think it's really spectacular that in all of her speeding about in the ocean, Jeff somehow managed to capture this incredible picture. And when you do some research into what mermaids would have to look like to be able to survive in the sea, it's less half woman, half fish with beautiful long hair, and more no arms and either lots of blubber or fur like a sea otter. Or hair. Do sea otters have hair? I think it's hair. It's a good story, but is it just that? Now, Jeff maintains that there had been sightings of mermaids in that area for years and years and years. So who knows? Maybe what he saw was actually a beautiful mermaid from the depths of the ocean. I just don't know if they'd really look like that.
Let's talk about some real life mermaid encounters. And today I'll be sharing a story that was sent to me by a follower whose family is from Haiti. Of course, it always have something to do with the Caribbeans or Haiti when it comes down to these mermaids. So this follower said that her grandma would tell her this story of how her grandmother's brother got abducted by mermaids. So I'm assuming her uncle. And she said this happened when her grandmother and her uncle was like around like in their teens or whatever. And they all went down by the water just to, wash clothes and, play or do whatever they do by the water down there. Because this happened a while ago. And they said that everybody, it was like probably like a group of them, like, just hanging out. And out of nowhere, the uncle went missing. So everybody was just like looking for him, and like they didn't know what happened because they were literally all in a group, and it had to have been like a matter of like minutes that he walked off and just went missing. Like he couldn't have gotten that far if he like went off. So they thought he was just playing and trying to hide, because I guess he was just like a a little prankster or whatever, like to play games, what kids do. But they could not find him, and that's when they grew worried. They went back and told their families, and they already knew what probably had happened. And then, y'all, she said years later, he came back. I'm talking about he came back. But I believe she said like a patch of a different color hair. I believe she said red hair or maybe white. Like it was like a patch. And he came back with like different little abilities. And they were a very, very low-key like family. But to him, he didn't think that he was gone for that long. And he said that the mermaid basically kissed him, and that's how he was able to breathe and live underwater in their underwater kingdom or world, wherever they live at. But the uncle really don't talk about it. Like after he came back and, told them their story, he don't really talk about it. But the grandmother, has told her about it, to be careful when you're going down to the water. But there's lots of different stories like this that a lot of people don't even talk about because they're just so frightened, or they just don't feel comfortable telling people about it. But if y'all want me to share some of y'all family's mermaid stories, if y'all had a mermaid encounter, please feel free to message me and I'll look into them and I will most definitely share them. But let me know what y'all think in the comments, and if y'all have any more questions.
So not only are mermaids real, but the wealthy are serving them as the main dish at their parties.
If you didn't know, there's certain videos circulating around on TikTok talking about elites eating mermaids.
These are mermaid eating parties.
What you mean the celebrities be eating mermaids?
The origin of mermaids can be traced back to ancient mythology and folklore from various cultures around the world. While the specifics of their origins vary in different traditions, mermaids are generally depicted as mythical creatures with the upper body of a human and the lower body of a fish.
But are mermaids real? Are they good or are they evil? The earliest mermaid tales and depictions date back to as far as 1000 BC. Outer goddess, Oans, and even sirens all share the same characteristics as mermaids from different locations and time periods around the world. These myths passed down throughout history play a huge part in why people believe that
mermaids do in fact exist.
Did you guys know that mermaids exist?
Mermaid been exist since day one. Mermaids always been there.
Not only are mermaids real, but the wealthy are serving them as the main dish at their parties.
Allegedly, a guy came forward talking about mermaid eating parties in Hollywood.
Where they was eating mermaids, bro. And she said her friend had to sign an NDA. He had to leave his phone there, which he said was like typical for Hollywood parties, so he wasn't really thrown by that. He was ushered in, led to the dining room, and he said it was like this really long table, and on the other side of the table was just a wall of windows facing the ocean. There were about 25 people in there. The highest of the highest elite or something. A movie star, he said that she was really popular at the time. He said there was like this one executive, a producer, there was some government something there, but there were only like 25 people there. It was like platters all on the table, right? You know how they got the little silver platters with the things on top. So he sat down, he saw a couple of them, but then he saw this long platter. Like, he was like, oh, maybe this is a shark or something. Maybe we finna eat some exotic shark. They lift up the thing.
They served a mermaid. He didn't want to eat it. He went to leave. He found
tanks all in the room full of mermaids.
Celebrity's appearance, and as you all know, the Panel is asked to blindfold itself at this time. Are those blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Good. Will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? All right, panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery guest, we go to a different form of questioning. You ask...
Mario Moreno, also known as Cantinflas, was a very popular Mexican comedian actor who achieved massive success worldwide during his time. At the peak of his career, there were a lot of weird rumors coming out about Cantinflas having an obsession with mermaids.
I remember that story about that one Mexican actor that was obsessed with mermaids.
Let's talk about Cantinflas and the home he built for mermaids.
This Mexican actor, Cantinflas, please excuse me if I didn't pronounce his name right, but he used to have these extravagant parties where mermaids would be the guest of honor.
He was a famous, and he had all the riches, all like the houses, but his one wish was like, oh, I want to see a mermaid.
So he met a witch at a bar, and I guess the witch told him how to get a mermaid to come to his house. That was like by this mansion in Acapulco, Mexico.
Carlos also told him to build a statue by the edge of the sea. And he told him that whenever he goes outside at night, around 3 in the morning, he's gonna be able to see a mermaid. It is said that supposedly Cantinflas would see mermaids every night. He would stand by the edge with his statue and would be able to see them. There's even stories of him hosting private parties with the mermaids.
Rumor has it he would have these extravagant parties with all kinds of A-list celebrities and like high up people, and the mermaids would be the guest of honor.
And then he had all these open water pools that led straight from the ocean into his house,
so that the mermaids could enter and exit whenever they wanted to. After his death, due to legal reasons, the mansion had to be abandoned, and many explorers that go into the mansion claim to be hearing voices and laughter coming from around the mansion. There's also rumors that the statue comes to life at night and jumps into the ocean with the mermaids.
Conspiracy theories are a way of dealing with or understanding threats from the world around us. If you have a global threat like the pandemic or climate change, it's constantly causing a lot of worry in your mind. So you want to understand this in order to maybe have control over your life. And that can lead to maybe a preference for certainty over accuracy. So you tend to see the world as like, I need an answer. You find the first answer and you go, yep, that's the one, that's a new package.
One Piece, a popular anime known for its corrupt elites and government secrets, has reflected so much of what's going on in the world we live in.
Mermaids are real, and why shouldn't we believe it?
First of all, you have to understand that certain elites, let's just say, aren't like us underneath their, let's just say, costume. There's certain groups on Telegram, especially on the dark web. I'm so serious right now with fishermen that come from certain coastlines, and this can range anywhere from California all the way to Australia. They're literally all over the world. And they'll talk about not only catching them, but post their weight, their size, their length, their colored hair. They deliver them to people that have a shit ton of fucking money. There's actually some hot spots in the United States.
Yeah, for now they're just a bunch of rumors, but at one point Diddy's parties were just a rumor.
Breaking news now. The indictment against Sean Diddy Combs has just been unsealed. Combs is being charged with racketeering conspiracy, alleging he ran an enterprise that he engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, or kidnapping, arson, and other crimes.
Jeffrey Epstein's island was just a rumor.
A US judge has ordered the release of the names of more than 150 people linked to the American financier and sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, including victims, associates, and suspected accomplices.
Heck, the government told us for years that aliens didn't exist, and then one day all of a sudden, boom, aliens exist!
UAP are real. Advanced technologies not made by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the globe. I believe we are in the midst of a multi-decade secretive arms race, one funded by misallocated taxpayer dollars and hidden from our elected representatives and oversight bodies.
It makes you think, what else are they hiding from us?
There's a lot of people that come to me asking about my mermaid experience and if I ever had one. I in fact had two mermaid experiences. I had one when I was about 6 or 7 and another one in my early 20s. The one that happened when I was about 6 or 7 is the one that really still sticks with me to this day. So every summer my parents chose a particular place to travel to. It didn't really matter where, we just like to travel around. And on this particular trip, they chose to go to Mississippi. Now, a lot of people don't realize that Mississippi has a beach. It's called Gulfport. Gulfport is a very nice beach. I think if you have a family, it's a really good beach to go to. So on this particular day, it was a chill day. Nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. My brothers were with my dad catching crabs. We were just having a relaxing time. My other siblings were off doing their own thing, and there was me, just sitting at the beach, listening to the waves. Now, at that age, I was very mentally mature. I knew a little too much at that age. And as I'm sitting there on the beach, I would say probably like an hour into sitting there, there's a woman, her head pops out of the water. And I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, maybe it's someone swimming. I remember as I'm glancing at her through my glasses, her hair looked like seaweed. And that's kind of what really caught my attention. So when her head popped out of the water, I remember just staring at her like, this person looks very different. I remember my thoughts got the best of me and I screamed out, hey you, just to see if I would get a response. And she turned her head, like she looked to the right of her because, she heard me. And I got extremely nervous. I'm like, oh, what did I do? I was kind of the kid that liked to mess with things that I shouldn't have. And when she turned her head, after I said, hey, I said it again. I was like, hey, you, who are you? And mind you, my parents were all the way at the other side of the beach. Like they were at the far left of me. So they didn't quite hear me. But for some reason, she heard me. She was just as far as they were. And I remember her dunking her head back underwater. Now, when she dunked her head back underwater, she was facing the opposite side. So I was looking at the back of her head. So when she came out of the water, she was facing me. And it's like I couldn't even see her face because her face had this extreme shimmer, like golden color that was just radiating from her face. And as a kid, I'm sitting there frozen. I was like that guy off of Get Out. I was just looking at her like, and I remember gripping the sand so hard, like it was embedded in my nails. Like, you know how a fish swims? Like how you see the riptides or like the ripples in the water? That's what I saw. When she dunked her head back in, came out, she started swimming towards me. Now, mind you, I'm sitting there staring at this entire thing, like this person is coming up to me. And I was sitting on my bottom. I was sitting Indian style. And as she got closer, it's like her legs, her fins turned into legs, like she was walking. And like I said before, I was frozen. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't even move my eyes. Like my vision was tunneled to her. I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, this lady is so beautiful. Like her hair, I remember, looked like black sea moss. Like it was very mossy and it was black and long. So she walked up to me and her walk was so glamorous and it was like an intimate moment. I can't really describe it. And every time I talk about this story, my lips tingle. I always have to lick my lips when I'm talking about this. It's very crazy.
So I'm sitting there and she walks up to me. I'm looking up because I'm sitting down. And she kneels down and she grabs me and kisses me on my lips. Didn't say anything, didn't say hi, didn't say, who are you? Nothing. She kissed me on my lips. She gave me a smile, turned around, and walked away. The type of energy that ran through my body after she kissed me, like no language can really describe what I felt. There's nothing that I can say to describe that feeling. When she walked away, I just sat there staring at her until she got very, very far and dunked her head underneath. And when she dunked her head underneath, I could see her fin follow, just like that. And to this day, like, you know how people have, like, when they sense something, it's like you feel it in your head. But for me, I sense it in my lips. Like, my lips tingle really, really bad. And, you know, it's like that's something that no child can really forget. No child can really go to their parents and say, hey, this lady just kissed me. You know, it's nothing that you can go to your parents about. And, you know, to this day, I still dream about her.
Well, I tried to let go of the Hollywood elites eating mermaids, but here we are. I have worked on boats all over the world, and I've been a captain on boats in the Gulf of Mexico, America, whatever. I never witnessed anybody having dinner mermaid eating parties, nor did I ever see a mermaid. And I fucking looked every day. Months and months out to sea, man. You got nothing else to do. I mean, yeah, of course I look for fucking mermaids, man. But you're right. When wealthy people start eating mermaids, then we gotta look harder at it, you know? I mean, yeah. Now, a lot of people in the comments on the other videos are saying mermaids are code word for something else. A sick something else, so I'll just leave that there. But I have dove into the rabbit hole of the mermaids a little bit. I didn't dig too far. Now, as we all know, this could be a big distraction from something else, you know. Tom Cruise and them are over there having sex with fish. And they all seem to like pizza a lot. So I guess that all could tie together somehow, whatever. Anyway, much love, my friend. Peace.
So in December, I told my friend about this. I said, watch out for 2025, how they're going to be talking a lot about sirens and mermaids all of 2025. And then boom, out of nowhere, this month in March, this man come out talking about elites are eating mermaids, which I believe 100%. I've never seen it with my own two eyes, but I believe it because I think they're harnessing the power of the mermaids through their flesh. So they're consuming it in order to get the power that they need, especially back in the days with the Atlantis and everything. A lot of people have been studying mermaids and the power of water because we're basically made of water, like 90 something percent or 70 whatever percent of water that we're made of, but we have a lot of water in our body, right? And back in the days, this one man, he was a scientist who basically wrote a book about how he was able to, you know, have dreams, and the mermaids will come to him and told him about Atlantis, and that, you know, how he was able to come up with a lot of technology, new technology, because the mermaids came to him in his dreams. And I believe this 100% because I also work with mermaids. And if you are someone who lives by any body of water, that water most likely has a mermaid that governs over that body of water. So that is the reason why when I did the little video of me throwing silver coins in the river, which I usually do, by appeasing the mermaid of that water, I even do it with the body of water that's by my house. But my thing is, watch out for 2025 where you're going to hear a lot of new news about mermaids. And I do have a video coming out about the siren, which is the symbol of Starbucks. And you know, sirens, they can mesmerize you. They can make you feel, you know, be in love basically and be obsessed depending on, you know, what the magical purpose is. Or if you see one, they can mesmerize you, where they, mostly men, where they'll lure them into the water and kidnap them. But Starbucks, you notice how people are basically obsessed with Starbucks? Well, Starbucks sigil symbol is basically a siren. And a lot of people, a lot of the elites use a lot of different magic whenever they're putting their logos. So imagine Coco Chanel, which I've mentioned before, right here. I haven't even opened this, but right here, Coco Chanel, the sigil have been charged for you to only see it as luxury and, you know, something that is expensive. And also, what's the name of that one? The other one, which is Versace. Versace is a very powerful god, and I'm going to cover all of those sigils and how they basically charge them with magic for you to be able to spend your money on them, even though they're like really ugly stuff. You spend your money on them because you associate them with luxury, and basically it's doing its job, right? But 2025, you're going to start hearing a lot about mermaids. And when I heard the thing about celebrities and elites eating, you know, babies and also mermaids, I thought it was 100%. I mean, in my opinion, I've been talking about mermaids for such a long time, but a lot of people would always say, and don't get me wrong, not people in my comment section, because you guys know better. You guys have been watching me for a long time, and, you know, based on the stories I've been told, you guys seem to believe the stories because, in my opinion, they're true, and especially my story is very true. When I saw a mermaid in Haiti while I went for a swim with my cousin, I saw the mermaid. She was basically sitting on the rock, and I even told you guys that she wasn't black. I didn't see her as a dark-skinned woman. She had like strawberry blonde hair, she had pale skin, and there are other people who have seen Haitian or dark-skinned mermaids, but my experience was not that. I did not see a dark-skinned woman. I saw a light-skinned, or not a light-skinned, but a very pale-skinned woman with ginger, you know, strawberry blonde hair, and I thought she was beautiful, but I was very mesmerized by her. She didn't do anything to me, but, you know, she was sitting on the rocks, she was combing her hair, holding a mirror and everything, and that is the reason why ever since then I have been gravitating towards, I'm gravitated towards mermaids because of my experience. But when I heard this about celebrities eating mermaids, I didn't think twice. I just thought, you know, celebrities have tried everything, and I think, you know, they've reached a part now they have nothing else to do but to eat mermaids. And there's a movie that I have seen, I think it's something about water, where they captured this mermaid, and this one lady was watching her, and she basically fell in love with the mermaid, and she would bring her book and sit there and read a book in front of the tank of the mermaid. And also I told another story about other people who have encountered mermaids in the islands. And also there's this guy in Africa, very powerful man, who also captures and keeps mermaids in his pools. So this is not surprising to me that they're out here eating mermaids, and I'm actually glad that this is coming out, because now it just make my stories this much believable. Because some people, I even posted a story about when Wyclef was talking about the time that he saw a mermaid, and what's her name, Lauryn Hill, was basically trying to keep him from telling the story. I shared this story before in my channel where he was telling the story, and I believed him 100%, because in Haiti it's not unlikely that you will see a mermaid. And people who live in the islands, we just have this other sense where we can actually see things more than people who have never experienced it. If you live in an island, the energy is just different. The culture is different, obviously, but the energy is different. When you go in the water, like, you know, on a cruise or everything, it's basically you're like in a different world, you're in a different realm. The frequency is different, the wavelength is different. So whenever you come back from an island vacation, you let me know in the comment section. Don't you feel different? Don't you feel as though you have been recharged? You have been completely, you know, it's like you've been in a different world, in a different planet, a different frequency. But people who live in the islands are able to tap in more, whether it's through your dreams or through like seeing them on the islands. Maybe one night you go for a walk and you are able to see a mermaid. So a lot of time, like, I see people with negative comments saying, oh, well, this can't be true. Well, how do you know? You never even left Florida. You never left the United States. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, there are people who have seen mermaids in the United States. You know, maybe Clearwater, like I shared before with the guy, and also maybe the Keys. But when you are by the water, if you are paying attention, you can sight a mermaid. You know, it's not very likely that you're going to just see one out of nowhere, but if you spend a good amount of time by the water, by the beach, it's very likely that you will see. And there's another video I was watching with this other man. He's a very spiritual man on YouTube. I was watching an interview with him with Shira 7, and if you guys don't know Shira 7, she's a very, very powerful witch. very powerful witch. She's balanced, so she have, you know, both sides. She's very materialistic, and also she is spiritual at the same time. And I'm kind of the same way. I'm very balanced when it comes to, like, you know, I'm of the world and also very spiritual at the same time, because at the end of the day, you need that to keep you grounded. If you are too spiritual, it can affect your life. If you are also too of this world, it can also affect your life. But when he was talking, he basically saying that he had a vision where he was meditating on the beach, and I think it was Sarasota or somewhere in Jacksonville or something like that, or maybe Clearwater, where he basically, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. He saw a whole new city on top of the, like in the sky, but it was on the beach. He was on the beach. He saw a whole new city, and he meditated for a couple hours, and the whole time it was there. And as soon as morning time was coming, like, you know, it was getting ready to get light again outside, the city basically disappeared. And I believe this 100% because I have seen cities in the sky before and at nighttime, but it's very clear as day. Like, I can describe the buildings and everything that I've seen. But, you know, nowadays, if you tell people that you see things, honey, they're going to tell you, you're crazy. You need to be in the mental house. But it's not necessarily that you're crazy, because if you were to tell them the same story, like you see things, or, you know, you see cities floating in midair or whatever, you know, as a child, they'll say, oh, it's just your imagination. You know, oh, little Tammy, you're so cute. This is just your imagination. But as an adult, if you tell them this, they tell you that you're crazy. But what does it mean to be spiritual and to experience things? You have to be childlike, right? Doesn't the Bible says that you have to turn into a child to enter the kingdom of God? No? Or maybe, yeah, I'm just the one that read this part of the Bible. It says that you have to be like a child to enter the kingdom of God. So therefore, you have to be lighthearted. You have to be like a child and imagine things. Not necessarily imagine things, but have imagination in order for you to really see what's really in front of you. You know, so I believe this 100%. Elites are out here eating fucking mermaids, you know, harnessing the energy of the mermaids. Because imagine, like, did you hear what the men said about how, like, all of them were basically felt like they were it was like a euphoric experience when they ate it. I wouldn't be eating mermaids because I would try to preserve them, but, you know, hey, talk to. Hey guys, I'm Jenny, and this is Shameless Plug. So I want to tell you guys about my Crown of Success manifestation book with easy, simple rituals and spells to manifest a life of abundance in your life. And those spells are so easy, even a child can do it. So this book is filled with different spells that I've learned over the years from my family, passed down from grandma and everything. And also those are spells that I've actually tried and I know that they work. So this book not only teach you step by step on the things that you can do that are so easy that a child can do it, but it tells you like the proper moon phase to use, alchemy, manifesting with numbers, numerology, and also the days of the week that best fit for this particular spell. So it tells you the timing of when to practice the spell, the days of the week, the moon phase. It shows you all the colors of the candles that you should be using and different planets. So for example, I show you like planet Jupiter is for Thursdays and the hours of the days that you should be doing the spell. So this is an easy road opener spell. So I know a lot of people like to do like different spell work, but if your roads are blocked, of course your spells are not going to work. So it's good to unblock yourself first and then start using the spell, especially with the new years and the new days to come. And also I have some amazing spells in here. This is a powerful quick money spell. So if you're in the bind for some money and you're just trying to get some money, and I even have some easy powerful spell to win Game of Chance. So if you are a gambler, now I don't promote gambling, but if you are a gambler and you're just trying to make some money and trying to make sure you win, these spells will definitely help you. It tells you the best days to do it. So it says the best days to perform this spell is on a Thursday, Jupiter day. Jupiter is the planet of good fortune, luck, and expansion. Jupiter is the best day to perform spells that boost luck and increase your chance of success in any game of chance or any money spell, period. It has a list of so many spells that you can incorporate in your life with this new year to bring prosperity. And I even put some bonus spells on here, which for Saturday is a day to do like protection work. So I have a spell for like send back to senders. So I put some bonus spells on here, and then a protection with Archangel Michael. So there's so many spells on here. Removing the evil eye spell, so you can remove evil eye in your money and also in your everyday life. New Year home blessing spell, and I know it's been a few days since the new year started, but you can always do a home blessing spell any days of the week. As long as you need it, you could do it. So anyways, guys, this is my book. It's called Crown of Success by Jenny, and it's available on Amazon, the ebook and also the physical copying. So please grab a copy if you're interested in supporting this channel. This is a way to support the channel and to support me as well for putting out, you know, content every day for you guys. So enjoy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this book, and I hope you go and grab your copy, whether it's the ebook or the physical copy. I say have a physical copy, but it's really up to how much, you know, your wallet and what you can afford. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Mwah. This is a shameless plug, so just check out my channel, okay? Love you guys. Mwah.